In this video, we're going to look at how to submit a confirmation statement with the new steps, including the personal codes that have come into force since November 2025. So we're going to start by getting my face out of the way. And we're going to go to the web filing login. That can be found at ewf.companieshouse.gov.uk, and you can find that by Googling Companies House web filing, something along those lines. Just check that you're ending up at that URL. Scroll down a bit and click continue. And because Companies House is awesome, it tells you that you can't log in that old way and that we need to log in using the new gov.uk one login. And so we're going to scroll down and click the green button. And then when this page loads, you have the option to create a gov.uk one login if you don't already have one, or you can sign in. If you don't already have one and you create one, if you had one of the old web file logins, then use that same email address because it will connect the two accounts together. So sign in. And once you have logged in, it will take you to this screen here, and you can see that my company is saved in the list there because I've logged into it before. If you don't have anything in that list, you can scroll down to the bottom and click Add New Company, and you will be asked to input the company number and the authentication code, and then it will take you through to this page. So this is kind of the home page of the company. We've got a little note up there about the identity verification. And then scrolling down, we have a bit of the information about the company. And here we've got the accounts and the confirmation statement. You can see that my confirmation statement isn't due for another couple of months, but it will let us go through the confirmation statements process so that I can show you. And when this page loads, we'll be told about identity verification for directors. Try saying that 5 times fast. And it will ask you if you already have the Companies House personal codes for all directors. We're going to carry on as though the answer to that is yes, but comment and I will give you a guide that shows you how to do this if you haven't already done it. Next page is talking about identity verification for people with significant control. So this is generally the shareholders. It's not the only way you can become a PSC, but for most small businesses, it is about being a shareholder, majority shareholder, and there's an extra process that we need to go through for that bit. So then we've got a page telling us what we need. The most important thing is be ready with your £50 fee. When you get to the end of the process of putting all your information in for the confirmation statement, you do need to make the payment before it will go off to Companies House and go live. So make sure you've got your £50 ready to go. This top section is just telling me that I'm not due to file a confirmation, so it's checking whether I actually want to do it right now. The company trading status, this is about whether you went public during the year. Were your shares admitted to trading on a market? The answer is most likely no, if you have no idea what I'm talking about. Because you will know if your company went public during the year and you'll know whether that needs to be yes. So for the most part, the answer is no, unless you know otherwise. And this brings us into the main confirmation statement page. So I'm going to hide these sections and we're going to go through them one at a time because I find it's a little bit less overwhelming if we do them one at a time. So we can see that these are the sections that we're going to talk about and we'll have a look at in a minute. A registered email address, registered office address, officers, that's the directors, registers, the standard industrial classification or SIC code, share capital, shareholders, and people with significant control. So I'll go through all of those in a second and we'll talk about what each of them mean and what you need to be answering. Most of this is just confirming that the information that Companies House is correct, not that you need to add in new information. But for this year, we need to add in one piece of extra information, the personal code issued by Companies House after the identification verification goes through. We're going to go and do that first because if I show you, these are the directors and over here we can add the personal code. This, when we click this link, it opens up another page. And then when you come back to the form after having completed the add personal code section, it wipes everything you've already done. So we're going to go do this first and then we'll go through the form. Otherwise you end up having to do it. So there we go. This is where you can put in your Companies House personal code. If there are multiple directors, they'll all show in a list along this page. So you just paste your personal code in there tick the box, click submit, and you'll get a little green tick if it's all happy. Do that for each of the directors that are on the page. And then once you've completed that, you can return to the main form. So registered email address. If you're happy with that email address, just click yes. If you're not and you want to change it, click no, and it will give you the link to the relevant form that you need to submit. Once you have submitted that form, you can come back here. That won't have updated yet, but you can say no, but an update has been submitted. I don't want to change mine, so I'm just going to click yes. Same again with the registered office. If you're happy, click yes. If you're not, click no, and you can get the relevant form. And then click the final option there. Officers, we should have completed that now. We've added the personal code, but we still need to confirm that everything is correct, including date of birth. So we can click yes. But again, if you need to change anything, submit the form and click no. But an update has been submitted. The next is registers. This is a sale address. So that's records held at a single alternative inspection location. So the idea of the registered office address being on public record is that any member of the public can rock up to that registered office address and request to inspect the registers. The registers will include the register of directors, the register of company secretaries, if there have been any, because they're not required anymore, the register of shareholders, and any other important information that is publicly held by Companies House. If that isn't held at the registered office, you're supposed to log another address where that information can be reviewed by the public. So we're not holding anything anywhere else, so we're going to click yes. The SIC code, this is not something that tends to change very often, so if you're happy that that's all correct, you just tick the box and say it's correct. If you want to add a new code, if you want to remove, the options are all there. Share capital, this is probably the longest section just because of what it's asking. It's asking about how many share classes you've got and how many shares are in each class and how much the value of each shares is. So in this example, we've got one ordinary share worth £1 each. If you want to update or amend, you can click the link there, or if you want to just remove it completely. You do want to make sure you've got backup paperwork for all of this before you start changing anything, and you need to know that you have actually changed it properly. Hopefully, if you've changed the paperwork associated with the share classes and the number of shares, then you have been advised about what needs to happen here. So I'm not going to go into too much detail here because that's not what this video is about. For the most part, these things won't change. I advise you don't click on the confirm button. All it seems to do is refresh the page. I don't know what's going on there. So click the tick box and confirm that it's correct. And then we can hide that section. And then shareholders, that's a list of the people who own the shares and how many shares they hold and of which class. If that needs amending, press the amend button. This is really taxing stuff, isn't it? If it's correct, then tick the box. And then the people with significant will be for people generally who are the major shareholders of the business. But there are other ways you can obtain significant control. But if the list of names is correct, then we can just hit yes. That's just telling me that I haven't put personal code in for all the company directors yet, which I'm not going to do on a live video because your personal code needs to be kept private. If somebody has if your personal code gets to the hands of a scammer or somebody bad, then they can technically create companies in your name, rack up a huge amount of debt, act negligently, and it will fall back on you. So you need to protect that like it is a password to your bank. Don't let anybody have it. And then just click the boxes and then you can click submit. The next page it takes you is to make the payment for the 50. You can do it just with a card, but make sure that you go completely through that process of paying the £50 and finalise the confirmation statement, because it will not be submitted to Companies House until you have paid for it. And if you don't submit it to Companies House within the deadline, Companies House are very quick to start the dissolution process, which can happen quite quickly. So we've done all of that. We've submitted the confirmation statement. The next thing we need to do is submit the PSC statement. So if we go back to Google and we can go PSC verification statement. That's the one we want. And we click on that link And then we can scroll down here. You can read through all of this if you want, but basically we can go to start, continue. And yes, this is the correct company that we want to file for. And then down here, you can see that I'm listed, but at the moment, because it's outside of my 14-day period to provide my verification, that it won't let me actually do it. Once you're within the 14-day period, then it just has a field here that it asks for your personal code. So you can see that I can't submit my PSC verification until the 3rd of October, and I've got to do it by the 16th of October. Generally, that is around the time that you do your confirmation statement. So if you were the director that was on file at the time the company was incorporated, then your confirmation statement and your verification window for the PSC will be about the same time. They're out by a day. So my confirmation statement is due the 2nd of October. So if I filed that on the 2nd of October, I would have to come back here the next day to be able to submit that. I generally aim for somewhere in the middle of the window when I'm doing clients verifications, because that way I can do both the confirmation statement and the PSC statement at the same. So you just click continue or OK, whatever it says, you get the little green tick, and then you can log out. You're all done. So I hope that was helpful. Pop any questions you have in the comments below, and good luck.